Vertex, double trouble. Go shopping, it's your birthday. Go shopping, it's your birthday. We gotta shop like it's your birthday. And we don't give a hoot cause it's your birthday. What is going on? I took the day off of work today. Today, as I'm filming, is my birthday. And yes, I am going watch shopping. I have some coffee in me, so I'm a little bit revved up to go. I'm not going to roll the whole day with these watches on. As much as I appreciate what the good general started, I feel like a goon for having two watches on out in public. I will do it in the apartment from time to time, though. And I love these watches. I love Vertex watches. So the double trouble today. On my left hand, the watch I will be wearing for the day and my visit to this AD. Gosh, why do I torture myself? Not because it's fun. It's my birthday. Is the Vertex Vertex Dirty Dozen watch. This was my first Dirty Dozen. If you saw the previous episode on the Dirty Dozen, where I had the Omega on, that was the one I picked up second, but this one is the one that I bought first. And the reason I bought this one, yes, I'm an Omega guy. We know that. The name was the coolest, right? Vertex. That's a really cool name. And of all the Dirty Dozen producers, I believe this is the only one made in England at that time. And those were made for the Ministry of Defense, and I like that, and I got it at a good price. These are no longer at a good price. I actually bought a second one. I was gonna put it aside for a buddy of mine. I bought it from some dude actually in England, although he wasn't English, but this poor chap, this fellow, shipped me a 77-year-old watch in an envelope from the UK to the US. And this envelope had such minimal padding to not even really warrant calling it padding. And of course, it arrived in a bunch of pieces. No, not a bunch of pieces, but the hands popped off. And I got it at a steal of a price, and fixing it would not have been horrible. But as we saw in that previous video, radium, the lume plops on that watch were intact. These ones have been cleaned at some point in the life cycle of this watch. But those lume plops were intact. So any watchmaker would have had to have done, some form of special duty to work on it in order to, protect themselves from that. And I don't know if a whole lot of watchmakers want to do that these days. I don't know. Maybe it's not a big deal for them in a controlled environment. So I had to ship that one back. It was a shame. Who ships a watch in an envelope? Dude, I wouldn't ship it in an envelope down the street. Gosh. Anyway. And then this one is I think it's the grandson of the guy who started Vertex. Started up the family brand and launched these. This one I actually bought off of a forum, off of a watch buddy, a guy that he bought some of my watches, I bought some of his watches, which is always cool. It's nice to have some watch friends, such as yourself. And this is beautiful. This is the all black one. I couldn't get the silver one. I tried. They had a really interesting marketing launch with the first M100, which is it's a truer one-to-one with the, not one-to-one, but it's a truer reissue of the Dirty Dozen in most of its aesthetics. This is PVD, which looks cool. It's murdered out, and it's got some of the best lume I've ever seen. Let's insert a lume shot. This is pretty gorgeous. And I'm glad I picked one of these up, because I don't think you can get these anymore. I think their chronographs are more readily available, but if you're going to buy a watch brand that's reinvigorated on the history of the Dirty Dozen, you'd want the field watch aesthetic. And then they later on they released, actually this came in a really excellent kit. It came in a semi-Pelican type box with some extra NATO straps, and I took the NATO strap and put it over here on this one. It's kind of a tight fit because these have welded lugs, and I was kind of smushing it in there, but it more or less works. It's just, I think it's cool that the keepers match and say Vertex. I don't know. I really like that leather one that I had on the Omega. But they released a metal bracelet for this one as an add-on, like at least a year or two after I got this, and I picked that up, and that's what it's on right now. And I have to say, really good bracelet. Well done, Vertex. It has a, I don't want to say quick release, but a button release for the expander on the outside of the, I better watch my driving as I try to put my hands up to the camera. I'll do something in the studio, shoot it in there. It's really great, really awesome. I love it. And actually, one of my Doxas had that. I think the Mission 31 had that quick release thing. Pretty cool. So, wanted to do a video with these two twinsies next to each other. Great watch. I'm really glad that the producers of the Dirty Dozen in the modern age, whether or not it's the same company, are re-releasing or doing tributes to this. There's the Vertex one, which is actually quite a bit bigger than their Dirty Dozen release. I think Longines did one, Timor did one. Record? Did Record do one? I think maybe they did. I think that's rad. These Dirty Dozen watches, they're going up in price. They're going up in price. Considering it was probably cost $15 when it was sold to the soldiers at the PX back in the day. It's hard to justify spending $7 or $8 grand on the IWC one, which is the last price I saw that one at, and the JLC one. Cool watches, cool bit of history. I think I did the math on collecting all 12, and at one point it would have cost like 36 grand, 40 grand. Now, forget about it. Looking at 60 G's, somewhere thereabouts. That'd be cool though. That'd be a cool collecting journey. Try and get all of them. I don't know. Maybe not. But let's go into the apartment, the studio, and let's get up in their business and have a closer look at these two.
And a truer double trouble I cannot recall. What an amazing thing to have both of these watches in the same place at the same time. Such history. Let's take a close-up look, up in your business style, and jump into the Dirty Dozen one first. My goodness. 78 years old. Gorgeous. You can see that those loom plops were most likely serviced at some point over the year, and this glass is most certainly a bit too new seeming, but it's also that domed acrylic that gives it the additional height compared to this newer model. Just absolutely lovely. And this NATO strap is a strap that came in that line. Let's have a look at the case back. Those welded lugs, 18 milli. This one's, I think, a 20. It's a little bit fat for it, but it fits. And there we have the WWW. Watch Wrist Waterproof. Courtesy of the MOD. Gorgeous. Hope I look this good at 78. As Indiana Jones says, it's not the years, it's the mileage. I can't give Vertex enough credit for this bracelet. We'll take a look at it in a second, but zooming up in there on that beautiful PVD. Couldn't get my hands on the silver one. I would have purchased the silver one if I'd a silver cased version of this, if I'd had opportunity, but if I'm being honest, this goes a little better with the car. I'm so silly. I love pairing watches with cars. Absolutely great. And if you can see those numerals, they're actually raised. They stand proud. Those are at least 2 millimeters tall. How strange is that? How funny. Gorgeous, though. Let's take a look at the case back. Vertex M100B. And this gorgeous bracelet clasp system. Now these, as I showed earlier, the end links, this is a dual link, easy, quick release spring bar system. And this is the quick adjust if you had too much pasta at lunch. Thank you, Vertex. Right. You get a little expansion there. Dial that right in.
What am I shopping for today? I'm not really watch shopping today. I sent an email to the AD telling him it was my birthday and can I get an update on the availability of an Explorer. He's being very polite. He's being very polite. Done some other business with him, small stuff. I haven't bought any watches. They're just some services. And this dealer, this AD in my town, they serviced my Tudor. Or rather, they punted it to, they facilitated getting it to Rolex, my Pelagos left-hand drive. So I have a little bit of history with them, but nothing of import to warrant getting on their preferred customer list. I am going to take a run at them, but I might actually focus more on the Tudor FXD this trip. I'm going to turn you on to an Instagrammer, Lunar Oyster. And the reason is he had a post. I bought watches from him before, and I think he's based in Florida. And he had a post of an actual military-issued Marine Nationale Tudor Pelagos, the one that's actually meant for the military. And I don't know how he got his hands on it, but that's pretty friggin' cool. I don't know if that watch was just lent to him or he had a friend. I mean, he's a seller. He moves a lot of weight. And I'm going to put up a picture of his post. It's really cool. I would love to get one of those military issued ones. That's going to be an impossibility. Even if that ends up in the public space, gosh, 12 grand, 15 grand. And if it's the left-hand drive version, which they made, I don't know that they made a whole lot of those. That's going to be a $40,000 watch if it ever comes to market, which is insane. I would like to have gotten one from 2021, but they're so constrained right now. And the reason is that with that watch debuting mid-year or late year, there wasn't that many of them, and they're stamped on the back with the year they're made. So I'm going to angle on that one today when I get into that AD and see what's up. So I don't know. They're not going to have it. Who am I kidding? But you know what? Have a bit of horology, a bit of fun on the birthday. And so I'm going in. And we're back. Running and gunning. Swing and a miss. No Tudor FXD. No Rolex Explorer for me. Birthday or not happening. I don't have any Rolexes. It's alright. I got Vertexes. Actually, Vertices. Although I can't imagine I would refer to these two watches as Vertices to anyone. Anyway, it ended up being a good visit, though. It's a Monday, so they were empty. And I got to put on the pizzazz, put on some charm, and made a couple nice impressions, I think. I had a really great conversation with the woman who I believe is part of the family that owns the AD. So we had a fabulous watch conversation, just talking watches, which is always fun to do. But I also set up a possible future collaboration. Yes, the channel is small, but growing. And I positioned it as that, gave her my card, asked her to check out the channel, and in the hopes that, maybe when Hobby of Hours gets a little bigger, it would, be of interest to them to work with me. And I think that would be something along the lines of, me just getting hands-on with their watches and shooting some footage around it. I don't know. kind of a tall order. It's really not my jam. I'm not into new watches, mostly because of how much they cost, but I like to buy used. I like to buy pre-owned, and you know, it's cool to get hands-on with watches that you otherwise don't get to touch or handle or experience. If nothing else, it adds to your knowledge base. So let's look for that in the coming year. 2022, gonna be a big year. Absolutely can't be worse than last year. And we said that about 21 versus 2020. Boy, 2021 was a garbage fire. Reflecting back on my birthday in the last year, wow, heavy. Now, that's the funny thing about birthdays. People are so much into self-celebration. Actually, on your birthday, you should be celebrating your mom. She did all the work that day. You did nothing. And I just find myself thinking about my mom on this one, my first birthday since she passed on. And, if your mom is still with you, pick her up. Put down the YouTube, give her a jingle, say hello, wish her well, ask her to like, comment, and subscribe this video. No, I'm just kidding. But have some fun with your mom if you still have her in your life. That is the message for today. I hope this video finds you well and blessed. All right, peace.